difficult for Navi, and it could definitely be exposed because I don't think they're going to change anything, and they're actually not going to. Not going to do so.
And Safe is back on ISO. I mean, we expected this.
Yeah, and I mean, last time he was playing, he was having to deal with the IGLing as well. So at times, maybe not able to put in stellar performances, but overall, I thought he was pretty good on it still. So now he doesn't have that burden. There's no excuse for it.
And I think he was doing pretty well, like even using his utility to help the team. We know that for ISO, you can play for yourself, you can play for the team, and I think that he was doing a very, very good job. Maybe because he was also on the IGL, but especially with Vitality, starting now on the defense. And with the taste of Haven that we had today, I would like to see him getting aggressive. I want to see plays with Durkee. I want Vitality to be what they promised us they would be in January.
And so interesting, they choose to start on the attack, right? We had the same comp earlier. They wanted to start on defense. Wasn't the greatest, but Fly has given a lot of info on what we want to see. But what about for Vitality here, Mini? Do they just want to keep it simple, considering, you know, they are bringing Safe back?
For Vitality, yeah, I think it's just about... I think they already know the fundamentals of the comp, like they played it before. It should be pretty plug and play. This isn't the map where Safe should have issues integrating, in my opinion.
Do you agree, Bear?
Yeah, I don't think that for them, like, this was a good map. I think that they understand it, they understand the composition. I think that Durkee is a brilliant Euro. I think that some of the things that we've seen in the past, like, I want to see if that synergy is going to be back. Maybe it's easier with Safe. I do not want to see them throwing advantages, not grouping up, not talking to each other. Like, looks like they're mad sometimes at each other. They don't want to see and go together. I am not worried for Vitality in this map, and that is something that Navi should be worried about. If Safe starts having, he rejoins Vitality and starts having a stellar game, this is the team that will have a run in the lower bracket.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about honeymoon periods, we talk about, you know, these plays. If it's anyone that you're going to bring in to try and like activate a honeymoon period, it is Safe, right? You can't think of a better player in this situation. But I also want to shout out Hero too. I know, Kukuka, you're such a fan of him on Haven,
on this
but
map.
My goodness,
he does not have problems in Garage, I can tell you that.
Yeah, he has that Seaside on lockdown compared to Althea, right? Very, very, very different players. But ultimately, does it favor a team in this matchup, Fly? Do you think Navi have an advantage or Vitality?
I mean, I think Vitality has the advantage in terms of just playing the map, but if you look at comp to comp, I think that the Gen G comp just shuts down double duelists every day of the week. But
if they know how to play it.
Exactly.
He would know.
Yeah.
He would know how to know to. But I think that Vitality has every ingredient right now to be the surprise, to be comfortable, to be sometimes when you play a little bit more loose is when things go your way. You know, if it's not only like having the easy plan, but having just like some cheeky ideas. So, oh, I'm going to do this. You trust it, it works, and it starts snowballing in your favor. And that is, you know, you should sometimes you should not go back to your ex, but in this case, it might be different.
I mean, this is I mean, that's a Safe quote. That is literally what he said after he beat Team Liquid when he left. Sorry, Mini, go on. You talk about your ex?
What do you think? Why do you think the Gen G comp is so good against double duelists? I'm sorry, I had to interject. I mean, some strategy.
In my opinion, the Gen G comp is really good against double duelists just because that Viper wall requires two players to play on A no matter what, on their defense and on attack. Double duelist, like I said, the name of the game is Garage. You always want to send the Yoru in. If you deny the Yoru of being able to clone Garage with the mollies, it's good.
Have you ever thought about IGLing, Fly? I feel like I feel like you would do really well.
I tried, but it's not that good.
I think you should keep trying. Keep trying.
It's all good. And of course, with Safe back on the stage, we got to bring his #1 fan to cast this game. It's Mitchman and Tombiz.
Thank you very much, Yinsu. Great to see him back down on that stage today, and I'm excited to see what kind of performance we're going to get out of Safe. We talked about it on the desk a bit, role shifts and so on, but starting out on ISO should be a bit of comfort, no?
Yeah, for sure. I think going into the Haven is almost perfect for them. It's a map that Navi haven't looked great on, and it is a map that in the past Safe looked fantastic on. So getting him ready for the stage I don't think was ever really necessary. Like when this guy is in form, more importantly when this guy plays in stage 2, he is a phenomenon, and it's something that I'm sure Navi are going to have to consider. Of course, the story going into this matchup, though, the last remaining French org versus, well, the last remaining French person in the head coach of Happy. It is going to be one of them being eliminated here and now as they need to make it to the grand final if they want to qualify for Paris. And I'll be honest, neither of them have looked like they're going to make it so far, so a big performance needed today.
Well, especially with Heretics up against the winner of this matchup, you want to see this be a 2-0, a dominant display, because sure, Heretics looked a little weaker. I think they played some of the worst VALORANT we've seen from them in their last game. That's not going to happen twice in a row. I would stake everything on it. So for whichever team takes the dub here today, you've got to be looking at them as a strong contender and as clearly better than the squad they came up against. To start, pistol round, attack side for Navi, and they've already taken a couple of blows, dealing a bit of damage onto Safe, pressure to be applied to that C site, and it looks like a lot of talk about Garage over on the desk, and that's where the first real bloodbath may well go down.
Shield fading. Gonna have to be a timing pick from Safe. The blind good, and actually Kix has managed to find Alexic. That's the hard entry of Na'Vi gone. And a lot of the time, he has to almost just dive in and try and take space. That's not going to work for them here. Sneak him around the edge of the smoke. Durka looking to try and flash himself out. Already starting out strong. Leaving just a couple standing. Angel and Xiao to try and save the day.
Xiao already tagged up so heavily. Plant needing to be secured, and difficult task awaits them, that is for sure. Smoke goes towards spawn, but this player's already out on the logs. They look to isolate those fights, finding the first. OHP on Durka, but if you're not looking at him, that's not going to matter. 8 health left on Xiao, and he finally picks up one, but it's 3 players left to play against him. Get a little bit of info as well, and he is firmly trapped in that corner. The step heard, and these players looking to swing him on backside, a double peek, and he'll find the first, but full HP unfake, Sheriff in hand. Cleans up in the end. A 1-0 start for Vitality.
Yeah, solid start from them. Solid start from Durka as well. He's definitely someone that has to be a highlight going into this matchup. I mentioned the fact that when it comes to stage 2, Safe is always up there. He's been in the top 5 in ACS both the last 2 years in stage 2. The only man to consistently beat him is Durka. To no one's surprise, of course, he is the person who's always in the shout for the #1 duelist within the region. And for him, looking to try and make it to Champions is no real surprise. Either way.
Hell of a start for Durka as well. 3-1 early on. You look towards those orbs then as this next round plays out. If he can find a few more, that dimensional drift online for the first full buy from Navi. And I'm not expecting a force buy, obviously, to come out from that attacking side. Navi should be taking this one slow and steady. A shame to lose that opening pistol, but, well, that's no new feat for Navi.
No, and I think as well, like the fact is, this map is not really where we expect Na'Vi to thrive. Like, you look over the last few months in terms of them playing this map, they've got a loss to GX, Mates, and KC, and each time they've only managed to get 3 rounds over on the attack. That's the set every single time. It's been 3 rounds. So starting off on this attack side, obviously anything more than that would be great, but I think realistically what we've seen from this composition, especially if you get that double duelist working for Vitality, is the side of the map at times doesn't even matter so much. So it's more so going to be, can those superstars get rolling? Can we see the likes of Ruxic and Hero really shine? Because the one worrying factor for me when you go back to their game versus GX wasn't the fact that they lost, it wasn't the fact they won the first map dominantly, it was the fact that we saw Hero have a bad game. And that hasn't really been the case for at least the last few weeks in the regular season. So he's going to be the man I'm looking at. Alexic has been looking great, I'll be honest. For someone who only got added in stage 2, I think he's been a fantastic player individually. And then obviously for Angel, if he can have a map like he did in the first map of the series, fantastic. But hopefully he's not going to get, well, too tired, as the joke was.
Yeah, I think that 0-11 start, I think it was Ascent, was suboptimal.
There.
But he got there in the end. And that has been the thing for a lot of teams here, slow starts, and then looking like a completely different team later. And as you said, with the map pool that's in it, starting on the attack side as well. Oh, yeah, it's a polar opposite problem. But yeah, for Navi, that's very well something we could see. Weaker performance here on Haven, bounce back on Bind, and a tight one on Corrode. But they will be looking to solve problems. And we've talked about Hero. They said it on the desk. Okuka said a man that doesn't have any problems when it comes to defending towards Garage. But they do need to crack their attack side. That's where the innovation, the changes, and the improvements need to be. A very strong start to this round. I said I don't expect a force by him. We didn't get one. It's a couple of pistols invested into only 1 classic. But Alexic's the one to draw first blood, Marshall in hand. And now they can afford to run this clock down a little bit, see if there's a reaction that they can punish from Vitality.
That's the thing, if you have a good sniper player, the Marshall is a pretty cheap option to try and do damage with. Of course, less. Currently having one on the other side. Big problem right now for NAVI though is that time. Kicking, they found Durka. Getting a little bit aggressive. That'll be a weapon on the ground to be retrieved. That's a lot more dangerous than the previous kill. And now Unfake under pressure, but that pressure came individually. They now need to try and swing this one together, and he's got the support of Les as what looked like a dangerous round quickly forms into nothing. It would be a couple of kills.
I don't think that's a terrible idea from Durka. Unfortunate that the entirety of the enemy squad is there, but that wall goes up late round when there's been no contact for 50 seconds. You've got to try to figure out, are they pushing here, or are they going hard on C and Garage? Are we going to see that split so you can get ahead of those rotations? And even with him going down, this is the problem of having a Neon, right? You're going to try to take that space so quickly, but Vitality had Unfake not that far away, so he's able to slip into a position to punish and does very well to hold his ground up against so many players swinging in. A little one-by-one, but it's a good recovery on what could have been a shaky second.
Nonetheless, this will now be the buy round. Safe going to be down to just a pistol. See how much Vitality can do in terms of the damage. A great start for Les. Someone at times who's seemingly been on a bit of an island within this roster, but an island that you don't want to go to.
Well, I mean, now he's got his Wilson with him. See kicks over on that C side. No gaps left in that position. They concede garage control, but the risks are being taken elsewhere. Durka in the corner has a gate crash to fall back on, and Kicks has gone down on Plat. That's going to put pressure back onto Les. He needs to deliver a little bit more. The camera, the trap, this utility being such an annoyance to deal with. They are just, well, I mean, I was going to say slowing it down for the rotates, but they're not coming in. Les is going to have to do this almost alone. He finally has Safe there, rotating around from Garage, but he's so low. This could be an easy take for NAVI.
Dinks through the wall. Alexic still holding onto that Garage control, and Safe overwhelmed in the end after picking up the rifle. Again, this round mostly comes down to damage. Fake, he's not even going to get a step. And what is a solid sign is Alexic off to a good start.
Yeah, really solid stuff. I mean, for Vitality, they do very well to find the opening pick, but the fact that Les gets tagged so heavily, the fact they don't get a punish on Alexic, despite utility, you're giving up your camp, the trip close, the vulnerable as well came through, I believe, from Safe to stop a push, but it was just him. Everyone else contacting through C long, so they take all that space quickly, and with Les being so low, with Safe not having a rifle to fight with him, I think he was only on the Sheriff, right, so he had to retrieve that off his corpse. It's not as strong of a two-man backside setup as you would have imagined. A 2-to-1.
They're gonna push.
This is a buy, and indeed, aggression off rip, but Xiao's punished. He's got plenty more players here, though.
Fury being utilized, the vulnerable in tandem with it, and even tags 2 more players. That's a huge amount of damage. Off that Hunter's Fury, the initial push failing, but the response has left 3 players low over on the NAVI side. Re-aggression as well from Unfake to take back any level of C control, and even having Kicks deep within A. They got a decent amount of information, and especially with the shock dart going through, it will probably give the game away, and it's not going to hit anything either.
Yeah, this shock dart, I think the one he's lining up is going to just land around here in the entranceway, trying to break that trip, but it's much further back, and I think Alexic might go running into it if they take that backside space. Unfake steps out, looks for the duel, takes down Xiao. Anyone that steps closer would hit the trap, but it's been broken at long last. Still, they don't have the control they need on the backside. Safe here now as a player emerging from the smoke, and his Spidey sense is kicked in just in time to catch him. The numbers looking good for Vitality, the health low on Hero, and a very late play coming up through main as we speak. Kicks has got a freebie with Angel all alone. He was caught on his fallback. He has at least got the spike. A chance for him to get a plant on B or A. From there, though, this is going to be a very tough hold in the post plant.
Makes sense to run it down to the A site. You don't know if there's somebody lurking nearby, so this will likely be a free plant with no chance at denial. One away from his ult, but in this sort of scenario, the value of it doesn't hold quite as much, especially with the players on Vitality all looking to move together. Move as a unit. Keep this tight. Make sure there's no opportunity for Angel to try and find some sort of isolated battle. The one thing on his side is the time, but the plant definitely not in the best position. He's going to try and potentially catch them on the cross, maybe not expecting him to be here this late into the round, but less a safe pair of hands. It's not going to give the IGL a moment's notice.
If there were 2 players left alive there, I think this was the perfect play. Planting backside, playing for short. As soon as they get eyes on the spike, they're going to realize, okay, he's probably Heaven, he's probably playing in Spawn. and so you can catch them off guard. But because there's 3, those 2 players go forward, one to defuse, one to cover, the other guy just watches the back. So you don't, there you go. You don't really get away with the sneaky play, but it definitely could have worked, and I think that's what Angel's going for.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea at all. Unfortunately for Na'Vi, this puts them in a bit of a weak spot economically. Even the couple of weapons dropped in the last round is enough to make this one awkward, but they are still going to be investing a decent amount into this, especially with that Hunter's Fury available. An early use of that vulnerable. Again, look how much damage has been done onto Alexic. That was a shock dart fired through with the vulnerable through the wall. A nice little setup.
A very nice opening as well. The shot connected straight to the head of Hero. Alexic tagged low, and I think any option they had to throw this Hunter's Fury, which by the way was gained by Angel getting the plant and then dying, that got him the 2 orbs he needed, but it's kind of gone out the window now, especially with Alexic this low. The potential to follow up on it is null and void. The thing about Neon is it's hard to get that headshot in, but
Give Ruxic gun. They are stood next to each other. Please. Or is he just going to go die and then, then Ruxic's going to pick it up? This seems like it's unlikely to have success. And oh, there you go. Ruxic got the gun in the end. It took his teammate dying to get it. Well, Unfake now knows exactly where he is. They're still committed to going into this A site, but the full force of Vitality are sat waiting. 4 players on this side of the map. Angel gets nothing. Xiao gets nothing. And well, Ruxic, he does have that gun.
yep,
That's about it.
hasn't got a lot of HP left. And they don't know he's there, I suppose, so we can add up the positives. I think they are starting to connect the dots, though. Push up A long, push through mid, window clear, spawn clear.
10
The only
seconds left.
place he could really be right now is short. They are sending the troops after him. Catches a glimpse of a gun, and that gets him 1. Dirkus 3K seals the deal for Vitality, 4-1 up. And yeah, I do think that was a very weird scenario. Seeing Alexic, especially contact playing it. This is where maybe he can be the human drone, slide in, and sure he's dead, but you get the info, and then Ruxic can trade. But Ruxic ain't trading with a classic.
Definitely. It's not gone to plan, but ultimately this is not going to be a scenario that Na'Vi are happy with, and going forward they're going to be taking that tactical pause, giving themselves an opportunity to try and talk things through, because as said, this is a map we don't really expect them to win based on some of their previous results, but I don't know, it's been a little bit rough to start.
Team Vitality's way to playoffs. Mates losing, and they win. Footloose, BBL win, they're in. There you go.
That's what it took. Like, that was ultimately the point of this, is that it was based on another team's success to take them to the playoffs. Like, they almost didn't make it here, and now they sort of have that one lifeline to try and fight back in all the way through the lower bracket, by the way. There is no... They have to be back in the grand final if they are going to be making it to champions. It is a long and treacherous road.
It was a shame as well in that Mates game, because I feel like Gentlemates have shown that they've got the potential to win so many of the series that they played, and I think by that stage they were already eliminated, which almost is worse when you face a team for your qualification and you still need another result to go your way. And that team doesn't care. Right? They can win, they can lose, they can try something crazy. They don't have to worry about anything at that point, and when the stakes are off, that's really when things can get spooky. But Vitality managed to win their battle. The other results went their way, and now they're here. But this could be the end of the road for now, though. A very good start, 4-1 up. Rifles in the hands of their opponents again after a pause. This is where Navi could be dangerous.
Yeah, it's scary though, because Safe having that kill contract and them having the dimensional drift, like, you up against 2 ultimates that can very easily ruin your setup, like ruin everything that you have planned. Any sneaky plays will just be destroyed. So it's a round that Na'Vi are desperate to win, but one that has a lot of potential on the other side. Now Ruxic, he's got very far up here. He was the lone sort of lurker on this side of the map, but after getting so far, the team have rotated towards him.
Nice opening as well. Less down. Unfake falls in the corner. Dirk is still standing, but they spotted him once Angel fell at his hand. That is a clean take from Navi. Direct, simple, and it works out with Safe left alone in a 1 versus 4, and he doesn't even want to try this. There's no orbs to be gained for him, and there's no real chance that that rifle could clutch this out, especially when you consider, I mean, their economy's in a very good spot, so but I still think this save early on is the right call. No point throwing away the advantages you've worked so hard to earn.
But yeah, and something I want to mention as well, like I didn't believe we cut to the coach cams during that tactical pause. So I don't know if she's actually in the booth, but someone who was missing from the previous playoffs game was the performance coach from NAVI, who they have brought in for today. So the fact that they take a pause immediately, it looks like a better scenario for them, a quick and clean, concise round. I think it's so important because when you have a team of youngsters, I think it can very easily get to a point where mentally the pressure starts to get to you, you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. As I said, you're in your opponent's map choice and both of you have to make this crazy run. The fact that she's now here today, I think could be a big play for them. And obviously, I think the same for the other side of things, Vitality. I think they always have their performance coach here.
That was a crazy spam from Hero we get to see in the replay. Blast has got to feel a little hard done dying that deep up in heaven. But 4-2, as we said, economy for Vitality. It hasn't taken much of a scratch. They're still able to get a full buy here. Operator in the hands of Durka. Light Shields being the choice, because they know they're not going to come up against that pesky Outlaw. And with full Vandals on the other side, a headshot's a headshot, as I'm sure Angel would say.
Well, they found one, and they now convert it into something a little bit more. Early control towards Garage seems to be a huge point of contention for NAVI. Clearing out that position, pulling players across the map, but ultimately it hasn't been a big part, and immediately they're actually going to manage to grab Alexic safe, taking that 1v1 versus the Star. Jewel is of the opposing team, and it's close, but he will take it over the line, back to full HP, and Alexic not leading the charge has definitely been a problem for NAVI in the last couple of rounds.
Safe definitely has the tech for that ult as well. Stand back right, easy pickups for him. On Navi, Alexic down's going to, as you said, cause a lot of issues in terms of that push. Going to try to pad the gap. Angel's utility already removing the cam early on towards Garage, and now removing kicks, putting the numbers back even and giving Navi a chance. They don't have what they need to push deep into this site, and they have no control over their back. It's wide open. Durka's walked up, but the shot's missed. Now they know. The flare in the sky, but Safe holding strong for the first. Ruxic gets them the double, then leaves Durka all alone. He has his clone with him at least, and maybe that can get him the info he needs. But with a player tucked in the corner, it's done and dusted. Well played by Navi, losing Alexic early and having Durka on the flank, and they still get away with the round.
I think well played from Ruxic. Player ends up pushing backside alone to try and take the fight versus two players who are waiting for him to push backside, and he gets both with a lovely little spray, and that's enough to turn the round on its head. Up until that point, they were boxed in, like they were trapped from going anywhere else. But this is sort of the guy we've been highlighting all the way through the season, someone who came in as this sort of relatively unknown Turkish star, and well, has definitely made a name for himself this year.
Ooh, he's ahead of the turret. They might not think that Durka can be here. It took them a little too long to get Timmy online. That's huge map control. Navi, I think they're going to be cautious of it. They are. Yeah. The drone goes through, thank God. Otherwise, that could have been a free double. But instead, it will be Durka reset. That control retaken by Navi. And, well, I was going to say a nice slow round to ensue, but Les has found a pixel on Alexic.
Yeah, that's important. After losing a player over on the A side, that early operator battle for Alexic, they quickly rotated in that direction. And just look at the sort of split on the map right now. It is one player trying to defend basically everything, and the other three from Vitality, they've only just cleared out the A site. So much control has already been lost. Kicks is completely unaware that they don't have that control. And in fact, the same for Durka. He's got walking out with a knife in hand. A couple of blips for Vitality, and that's enough for Navi to dominate.
Yeah, I think we might see a pause from Vitality after this one. If I'm faded, that button is getting smashed right now for a timeout. You get two players within, what, 3 seconds? Completely flabbergasted that there's someone in front of them. What did Navi do? They end up finding opening pick, lose a player, and then just full default. Super slow round, take space gradually towards that B site. Ruxic walks in. That space that you've conceded for 15, 20 seconds, to not even imagine there's someone there, and then the immediate, look, you're on B, what's the chances there's someone around or in window? Or like your opponents are. Pretty high chance that they've got someone there. That's a blip that I don't think Vitality can afford to replicate.
It's especially when you three-man retake A site, use Dimensional Drift to go all the way up A long and have a look. It's like, there's only so many places that they can be left on the map, and mid of B is very much the focal point because they had less on the C side. So I have to feel like that was almost just a lack of miscommunicating in that moment for the side of Vitality. But hey, NAVI did well to exploit that additional space. It's done a lot of damage to the economy over on the Vitality side. What was a solid start for them, 4-1 up. Has started to steamroll, and also over the last few months, this is a new attack side record for NAVI. As said, they only ever got 3 rounds over on the attack. Made it to 4.
Yeah, the 4-1 start for Vitality, the economy in their favor. They could lose 2 rounds, still have money to buy. Everything was going their way. And now to see it crumble to this state, I'm surprised we don't get a pause. But it does mean that, at least how I read that, is Faded is hearing the right things being said by the IGL, by the players. They're identifying the holes in their ship already, and they've got them patched up. We'll see if that's the case. Maybe we won't see it in this round. Again, like, the buy is not great.
Yeah, or he'll call a pause next round.
But exactly. You hear the right things, you say, it's a low buy next. Let's see if the guys make the adjustments, and if not, that's where you start to really mount the panic stations. But this round, it's not about winning, it's about the right ideas.
Angel knows where the cam is.
Being removed, though. Taken back by Les, because he knew, well, they're going to break that now, aren't they? So he'll reposition it in a couple seconds.
The shock dart got it. Let's lie. Let's lie.
Well, it's back up already,
Wow, that
Tom.
was really quick.
45 seconds goes by so quickly.
Don't worry. Angel's got another
30
shock
seconds
dart.
left.
I don't think he's going to be
It's the
using
same
it there.
again, though. They lose a player. The gap is then found over on the B side because they've scrambled where that drone went through. Obviously, a quick rotation available. Shock darts being put out by Unfake. They're doing considerable damage. They're actually going to try and get into the site early. 13 seconds left to get that spike down. Kicks should have a freebie. But from here on out, it's not going to be easy.
You players tag low, and that's a huge spray! Not by 1, but 2. Ruxic alone. The information is there. In goes Hero. He's got to get one quick, and he will. In danger! But perhaps he is the danger! Only one man left! And Hero will deal with him! The hero NAVI needed in that round! It's 5-4. The lead is theirs!
Oh, that's madness. That was Ruxic having to run away because he was on 50 HP at a Viper's Pit. And if they lose the Viper's Pit, they lose the round. And then Hero goes, well, if he's running one way, I'm running the other way. 2 with a single shot. And then the other with an operator in a Viper's Pit, which if you speak to anyone, is a mad thing to do. But he didn't have any bullets left, so he had no choice.
I'm just running at
He is just running at them. They thought that they'd be given a bit of respect there, but no. Full aggression from Hero, and that's what they needed. Someone to come up swinging when it looked like they were down and out. At least for a couple seconds. They'd have to reset into the pit. 5-4, the lead lost, and that's when Vitality called their pause. Evidently, the adjustments made mid-game, not living up to scratch. And like you said, Tom, the fact is, for NAVI, we don't expect this to be the side where they put up good numbers. Never mind take the lead after being 4-1 down.
I'll be honest, this is not where we expect the map to have good numbers. I think the last 3 times they played it, I don't think they've won a half. So it's not like the attack is normally worse, but the map is just not good for them. Like, it's not been good for the last few months. So I don't think that Vitality would have come into this and expect any real resistance. And as of right now, yeah, it seems like on the fly individually, they've looked a little bit better at times. And then just, I think the calling as well. Like, when we see Vitality basically gamble on the side of the map, they're leaving a huge gap every time. And that gap is being exploited by NAVI.
Well, Ruxic's being dropped immediately. No gap towards the A site. Durka went walking up on long. Catches his prey, but there's a return right away as Alexic patiently waits up in hand on C long and picks up kicks. But in the corner, Safe is lurking, and he'll find himself the return. The advantage back in their favor. But this is very much where the problems have been. When they lose a man, Vitality, as you said, they've left gaps wide open. And NAVI have been very good at sniffing them out. For now, though, it looks like they're going to go running into Durka, which is a dangerous strategy, especially when you don't have your weapon out.
He can escape from this point. But he has the support. Unfake rotated in. 2 players coming in from long. It's expected. Alexic has managed to get 1, but you can tell Durka's plan is just to try and hold for time as Les will round the corner. A pause called and an immediate response for Vitality. And I'll say as well that if you look across the map, once they had the advantage, you had a late trip being put into B by less to make sure if they did double back, they had the info. You had a long push on C as well coming in from safe. So this time they had a lot more cards on the table of information rather than, okay, we're going to gamble one way and then try and retake, because that's what's caught them so far.
And maybe that's the
Daniel
result
was
of
right.
that
This
pause
guy's
as well.
killing me on some crazy pixels. I will not swap this long anymore like this.
Yep, that's a good call. Alexic certainly has the patience. That has been shown.
Gotta go.
He's going to go aggressive early, but the wall from ISO blocks him out of that peak.
It was
And
for the
now,
orb.
knowing that those players could be close, he has to back off. It gets them the orb, but it also gets them a lot of control. The only player left behind to watch it was Angel, and he's picked off for free by the op. That's a great opener.
Duck has been doing well. He's had some very aggressive sort of takes over on that A side, but the majority have been successful. Alexic now waiting, a pixel given. We just heard Kicks talking about it. Got to be careful versus this guy, and now a complete change of pace. He's going to pull out the overdrive. Attempt to take space, but he's been caught in the middle of it. Has to go forward. Remember, he only has the operator in his back pocket. That's not the gun you want. And Safe just had the easiest fight of his life.
Yeah, you know, a valiant attempt to run towards him, but that's just not going to work out. Kicks backside. Can't get into the safety of the corner. The Nano Swarm down. Les barely survives. 100 Fury sent through. Team kill possible. Got to be careful, and that's a huge tag. Hero down. Another player so desperately low that Les can easily take him out. And Michelle on 3 HP. It should be an impossible clutch. Even the spams through the box will take it down, and they are coming in full force. Vitality, 6 on the board. You said Navi not winning a half in their last games on Haven. Well, they won't be winning this one.
Yeah, I don't think they've drawn one either, so that
Hey, that's still an upside.
there's still some positives to be had, but no, ultimately a good resurgence. And actually, this is both teams now. We've seen an early start, 4-1, a pause taken, a big streak around to NAVI. Then you have the same on the other side. So clearly the pauses for either side are having their impact. And while for Unfake, we sort of mentioned it in early weeks, he had a couple of rougher games while clearly trying to find his footing, but now top of the board, 11-7. I think we saw it in the prior week as well, having some solid individual statistics. Definitely seeming like a good addition to this Vitality side. If they go in with the lead, I don't think they'll be too unhappy with that. Maybe from 4-1 up they will.
Yeah, you know, it's all about how you look at it. The recovery's been nice. That's always the best angle to take if you're on the team. We can say what we want. 7 still possible. As we said, searching for the lead with deep aggression towards A long. The gate crash isn't in spot for a rotate. It's just to go back to the A site. They might want to commit, at least destroying some utility, making that flank a little bit more open. They've already got that with the alarm bot down, but here comes the lockdown. Wait, did the alarm bot go down because of the range? I'm not sure if they broke it or if he stepped forward to put the lockdown into play. Angel doesn't know there's a second part of that push. He gets dropped. There's 3 players in mid now. We're in and around it.
Drone spots out Rook sick, but you don't want to peek into that, man. He's always clean when it comes to these angles, and while Hero holding another, waiting for somebody to peek. Kicks almost taken out as well. Another pixel angle he's got to deal with. Still going to be put through. Space attempted to be taken, but the paranoia in the other direction has made things that little bit more awkward. 2 players to try and find a way back in, but with a stun immediately thrown through, there just isn't a road back into the site. Now, of course, you'd be talking about needing to go for it, but honestly, there just isn't any way they're getting this defused. Hero's just going for the confidence kills. It will be one either side, but more importantly, Na'Vi, they're going to get 6 at the break.
Tied up neck and neck. From 4-1 down, that's great work from Na'Vi on a map we don't expect much from them on. Maybe there is still promise for that second half. I guess the question there was, did Na'Vi know there was someone behind them? And, well, they put 2 and 2 together either way. A good half from Na'Vi, but another to be played out. We'll see if they can keep up the pace after the break. Welcome back, folks. Before we get back into the game, it's time to let you know these guys competing to go all the way to Paris, and you can go there too. Scan the QR code on your screen to get 15% off the tickets for VCT Champions Paris. Make sure to use the code VCTEMEA 15.
Sure. Definitely worthwhile, I would say. It's always been an experience every single year, and I'm sure in Paris it will be no different. And of course, if you use VCTEMEA 15, it is the best code because it has EMEA in the center of it. Nonetheless, for both of these sides right now, this is a long road. Yours is quite easy. You just use a code, you get a discount, you get on a plane, or if you're already in Paris, you could literally just walk there. But for these teams, they have got to go all the way through that lower bracket, make it to the grand final. That's the road. It feels like an impossibility, especially when the likes of Heretics, Fnatic are in that lower bracket. Either Liquid or BBL will be there to greet them along the way.
Standing ahead.
And a pistol round, especially for NAVI, on their opponent's map choice, with, I believe, Bind coming up next. If they can take the pistol here, maybe they have a chance for a 2-0.
Thank you, Zil, for the cheeky reveal we got to see. He's a menace. The teams hate him. He's always revealing their lineups. It's something's got to be done about this guy. But I'm happy because we get to see them. Oh, I can't wait to miss it in my ranked game. Just like those shots missed. Hero deals some damage, takes some of his own, and information that the C-side has very much been lost. Still seeing presence across the map, but Alexic manages to catch a rotation despite being quite low on HP.
I like that little bit of aggression. They realized the control they lost, so attempted to try and gain some on the other side, and Safe has just had a jump scare. That's Ruxic isolating another fight. They're going to be able to clear out an awful lot of map control. Vitality, are they trying to bait them in? They've tapped the plant over on the C side and now are trying to move back. The risk here, though, is just the amount of time. Like, if they go all the way to the A site, okay, it's completely open. Left. That's not a bad post plan. If they go in any other direction, they're going to meet an enemy.
I know I said Alexic is low. It is 100, not that low of a number. But it is Hero in that corner, tucked in garage. He might have had contact with Durka, but the contact's coming in elsewhere towards the B site. Durka 28 HP, 12 seconds on the clock. He sort of needed to keep these players towards the spawn if they were close. He will be dropped, but at least the plant's secured over his corpse. His Kicks looks to fill in that space, catch the rotates early, but he won't be able to pluck any of the Navi players out of the round. And with 2 on the flank through short, the rest coming in all together, this is going to be a big crunch from the defensive side.
So much to do. The stun already causing issues. Kicks gets nothing, and in fact, neither of them do. A great pistol round again from Ruxic. A solid hold and re-aggression from Navi, and I said, getting that pistol could be the start of what is already looking like a pretty solid Haven map for them.
Yeah, it is. What a turnaround. An in-zone flawless, locked in. The lead back in their favor after a 4-1 start in a map where we expect nothing from them. I mean, we even highlighted starting out this series that, like, oh, well, look, Haven could be one that they don't deliver on, but we've seen plenty of teams make that bounce back. Think back to GX just the other day. So many teams are doing it, so it's all right. Don't worry if Navi bomb out of this one. Well, they're in the lead coming into the second half. Now it's a very different story. Now we start to get worried about Vitality. You're moving on to Bind next. Navi, if they manage to put up a couple more rounds here, hell, even make it like double digits by the time the map is over, if things do go the way we sort of expected at the start, that's still a great sign for how this series could evolve for them. Direct play.
Yeah, pacey hit. Double tap used. Trying to catch them off guard with the timing. Hero, obviously only having a ghost. It's the rest of the weapons that are worry. Of course, for Navi, they want to try and keep this with at least 4 players standing. So any damage from this point is a win for Vitality.
Oh, nice stuff by Durka! He's got 2 somehow! Well, when he goes down, it's less falling with him and a quick cleanup, but still,
that's decent.
Considering 2 players were low on the way through, like, it's always dangerous to retake against pistols because you're running into them. Here, Durka actually ran into Navi, and he comes out with 2. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, he's done great work. As said, like, from the get-go, with Hero, the only pistol player, getting 2 kills, you kind of go, okay, this should be fairly easy from this point onwards, but the fact that he swings in, gets a double, and then, yeah, makes it a lot more costly. You're going to look at the buy coming up in the next round from the side of Navi. And it has a lot of pieces missing. This is a good opportunity for Vitality to get themselves back in. Of course, the plant, even in the last round as well, is going to make sure they have full shields, so that Outlaw isn't going to have anywhere near as much impact, but when you have 2 pistols, even a single bullet hitting can be a nice touch.
Agree with Angel. Durka is just something else. For Navi, 8-6 still, but rifles on the other side. Xiao getting a little aggressive. Durka was doing this in almost every round, but somehow Safe goes down. He had the angle held. He looked ready for the fight, but certainly wasn't in the end.
Can't really peek off of the snake bite because it's only a pistol. Space has been taken, but it's almost a ruse. Angel does go pushing off the back of that, but still spots a player on this side of the map, especially with that being your controller player as well. Omen not really known for its lurking capabilities because of how powerful that paranoia is.
Scanning ahead.
The fact is, though, it seems like Na'Vi maybe has slightly the wrong read. 3 players over towards that C side of the map now.
Maybe even just expecting after the Omen scene on A that they'll rotate, they'll leave this area, but no, still looking to push in. Xiao does well to find one, but he's revealed up top. He shouldn't be able to get away with that. He can't even get out. The shrouded steps, not shrouded enough as Durka picking off left. 2. Puts this into a 3v3 with Navi. Again, it is a bonus, so damage is often the question. They've got an opportunity to do a little bit more. The Outlaw on the retake, also not having many easy targets to take down.
It's kind of where you want the space to be taken. Give an opportunity, and actually, Alexic's done incredibly well! He'll come out with 2 kills, the Outlaw, starting things off with a pistol to finish it. Eat your words, Mitch, man.
Well, you know what? What I said was he doesn't have many easy targets with the Outlaw. The one he did have was Durka. He was already tagged, so it ends up being perfect target selection from Alexic. The Ghost evidently just as powerful. And that's a hell of a round for Navi. Man, I am perplexed by what we're watching. Obviously, Safe loses
that
the
a replay of him looking at the map in that moment? I think that's what we've just been given by EBS. He does. He takes a quick look to the left, gets shot, and then looks back to the center of his screen. If that was just timing, that's so unlucky. But if that's what EBS has given us, that's a fantastic replay.
Yeah, I didn't even look at the replay itself. I didn't get to see it. My bad. My bad. But that also explains it. But it's more so the fact that, like, Navi, 3 rounds in a row now, a 3-round lead in half number 2, 4 away from connecting this. We expected this to just be a blowout for Vitality. There's no other way to put it. And 4-1 up, it seemed like we were getting exactly what we expected. We're already thinking about Bind and the difficulty of reverse sweeping the series, but it may be Vitality left with that task. And with elimination on the line here, this is where the pressure really starts to mount, because, Tom, we can expect this to be Vitality's map. I'm pretty certain they came in here expecting this to be the easy one as well.
Oh, of course. And with them being the last French organization, of course, an organization that made it to Champions last year, built a super team for this year, got top 4 at the first Masters. Expectations are that they will make that run. That's what the hope is, at least. And right now, they're being slaughtered. Alexic, he takes one and he's out. Not over-facing, disciplined in his positioning. I've enjoyed watching him play in the last couple of months. Definitely someone I hope that we will see a lot more of in the future. 15 and 10 right now. Angel alongside him and just jump spotting if anybody's on the other side, but they are both on short. And Durka, I feel like he's been the one major threat in this map so far.
Oh yeah, even with a Ghost, and now upgraded to the Sheriff. When he bursts through this wall, it's going to be panic stations. The flank coming in quite late from Safe, and with Angel holding ground, this round should already be done. They'll need a perfect plant position. It has to be stuck, and Alexic's still here. Safe, not nearby enough to delay, and that's it. Done and dusted in favor of Navi. Double digits on the board, and Vitality are still on 6. If I had to bet the way this was going to go, I wouldn't even get involved if we're talking about how Navi are going to win it. I'm leaving the room. And here we are. Vitality calling their second pause, and I am not surprised.
This was a little bit peculiar at the end. I guess they didn't expect the second player to be here, but it was like Safe's lurk was meant to catch the rotators while they were planting, but they had so little time that there wasn't enough time for Kicks to actually go and check everything. Obviously, it was still a lighter buy, so it's not the end of the world, but if they lose this next one, it kind of is the end of the world. Like they will be going into a map that they are yet to taste victory on in the last few months, with losses to BBL and GX. Solid teams and close losses, but it's still not a great sign when Navi have actually looked very good on Bind. I've enjoyed their Bind specifically. So losing your own map choice, a map that Navi, well, they've not even got to 10 rounds on. They've done it here already.
And I don't know what's changed on the side of NAVI. Obviously, we do know that Zeus is there now as well, having the performance coach, no doubt helping out. But this feels like such a major shift from the standards we've come to expect from this team on this map, actually on most maps as well. They're playing clean. Alexic's on fire right now. There's been moments in previous games where you've seen him taking on the frustration of some of the rounds that are lost, but it feels like NAVI here are able to bounce back so well. They're not losing the mental game, and they're certainly not losing the game on the server for now. This could be the final domino falling, a pause for Vitality, and maybe one last chance on this map.
Yeah, the pieces of what you need to see from Navi are on point. Alexic, Ruxic, Hero, though that trio of youngsters have been what have brought them to the playoffs in the first place, and what looks to start that road in the lower bracket. It didn't go well versus GX even after a blitz of a first map, so it's best not to get too far ahead of ourselves, even if the next choice is theirs. But for Vitality, they're going to want to hope that they can turn this around now. It's not been the homecoming just yet for Safe that was promised, especially on, as it was said by the desk, the map, where he actually doesn't have to shift his role at all.
Sneaky little play. Xiao's down below the window, and Vitality are none the wiser. Movement towards this A site now, going to be off the back of Durka's ultimate dimensional. Did he see the player in the corner? He must have seen. There, he's seen him now. He's seen him now without a doubt. The flash primed and ready. The rest of the team waiting for the nano to fade. That flash is already faded though as they turn from it. Ruxic and Hero able to put this to bed. Angel's there to pick up the pieces when they fall, and it's all unless 1 versus 3. The credits invested into this round. NAVI pushing up to 11. And there's barely a peep on the other side. Vitality are stalling out at the worst possible moment.
Who expects a Neon to be on top of that box, by the way? There's only like one way you can get up there, and it's exactly how Alexic did it just then. Like, Les had me so confused as the way he just got killed from the... Look at it, it's such an obscure spot to see someone in, but you can see the stress on the side of Faded. That was the round that they desperately needed to win. The economy now off the charts for Navi. So much so I believe Alexic has given himself an extra gun to fall back on and an immediate TP. That's been stuck straight into the B side. This is far more aggressive on the other side of Vitality. They'll get a plant immediately, although Hunter's Fury is being used as court kicks.
Spike down B.
Big pickup, smokes removed already. The spike down, good idea of the intention of this round, and Xiao's caught 2, looking the wrong way. They didn't know they were in heavy traffic. Out goes Alexic, and Unfazed not able to deal with him in time. Left into a 1 versus 3 for Navi. It's nothing but success for Vitality. Nothing is going right. I don't think Safe's had a kill this half.
Whatever it's been, it's not been good. Let's put it that way. It's been a rough one, and I think just now the manner in which they're losing these rounds, like I don't mind the idea. Quickly teleport into the B site. They clearly spotted a gap, but then they were so committed to this sort of aggression over on the A site. They don't realize that players rotated around from the spawn. They don't realize that the spike hasn't been planted, and Les has to go back for that. And then he's in a 1v2 on the site. Everything is falling apart for Vitality, and everything is coming up trump. You currently have Alexic at the back of the C site with an Odin.
And that's confidence if I've ever seen it.
You've got me deserved, I'm not going to lie.
It's kind of dangerous now. Safe.
Look at Steve, he's at 1 HP.
Oh, he just activated his ult. I was going to say he just got his ult with 1 HP, a chance to pull that back into the round. He's going to get his health back, and he misses the ult. So his first kill of the half,
he got his regen shield.
Oh, wow, 26 health. Yeah, that's going to save you from a bullet from a classic to the
Maybe
foot.
A wall bang?
Yeah, a wall. If you've got an extra armor of concrete, you can at least survive 1 extra shot.
Maybe it's a really strong wall. Oh, the drone hasn't got them the information they were hoping for. The deep Viper's Pit has
That's
locked them out.
ridiculous, man.
Yeah, this is that's as deep as you're ever going to see a Viper's Pit, by the way.
Be covered by Alarm Bot.
Now the Hunter's Fury being used. Shout has sidestepped that incredibly easy. It will connect onto Hero. That should get the kill. That's important. That's given less the space. Now they haven't cleared the backside of the map.
30 seconds
Assumed it was clear, even though that was fairly easy to sidestep. The swing out from Angel. Rooksik alongside him as well, but it's come down to just one. Kicks versus Rooksik. Kicks has not been having the best game, whereas, well, dare I say it, Rooksik has been a different beast. But this clutch could be everything. It keeps
10
Kicks
seconds
in the
left.
map, in a steps, and that will be heard. Rooksik's already right on him. A step back here would be immediate demise, but he's gone the other way.
Rooksik knows, though. He's got all this information. Player hasn't stepped to the left. Maybe he's towards A main. A link, I should say. But... And actually, that's probably the likely position. Once he sees the plant, you start to think it's an A link play. He sat around the corner on the left. He's around the boxes. The problem is Kicks is very far away. He might start to panic. There's the steps heard. Kicks knows that's not being defused now.
Bravo.
No need to peek. He's going to hold the line, though. This could give a chance for the duel. Nice headshot connected. Rooksik looking for the battle, but he'll lose it this time. And Vitality finally getting around on the board, but it looks like it could be too little too late. They need 5 in a row just for an OT.
Really smart stuff in the clutch from Kicks. So as said, he's not been having the best of games, so you can understand if maybe in those moments he would have panicked, but calm and collected, a perfect reposition. Doesn't panic as well when that spike is
We're still
initially
in it,
tapped.
boys. But a bit more cojones, because I...
A bit more cojones needed. There you go. At least it was a 6-6 out.
5 in a row. Double Outlaw has been purchased up by the defense. Alexic is that first point of contact, and he's been smoked off. This space has been taken quite aggressively by the attacking side. The Outlaw is going to be one shot to the majority of those players. Not Durka, though.
There's an opening shot landed. Durka down to 10 HP. He's at least able to take the brunt where his teammates couldn't, but now everyone's falling. Someone once said everything you lose is a step towards something. Well, here it looks like it's a step towards defeat, towards elimination. The road from champs looking blocked, and it's NAVI standing in Vitality's way. 13-7. A dominant display on a map where I think most people, us included, counted them out entirely.